Hello, and thanks for tuning in to the show that goes around the continent to bring you stories near and far. I'm Joke Rogers at Channels Television here in Lagos, and I'm joined by Vincent McCory from Voice of America in Washington.
Thanks, I'm Vincent McCory at the Voice of America. Happy to be with you again for another edition of Africa 54. Let's start off with the latest from Nigeria. Joke Rogers in Lagos brings you that story.
Nigerian chef Hilda record for longest cooking marathon is confirmed, and she has received her Guinness World Record plaque after several weeks of waiting. The Guinness World Records on Tuesday, June 13, ratified the cookathon with a record of 93 hours and 11 minutes, a month after she completed the task in Lagos, southwest Nigeria.
In a short video posted on social media by the record body, the official adjudicator, simply identified as Mac, explained why Hilda's official record stands at 93 hours, 11 minutes, as opposed to the 100 hours initially touted because of some miscalculations with allowed rest periods during the marathon.
There must be at least 2 items being prepared or cooked at any time. And the number, name and weight of each cooked item must be submitted with the evidence. Hilda fulfilled all of these rules. However, anyone attempting a marathon record receives 5 minutes break for every hour that they complete. This is to allow suitable rest breaks for the participants due to the prolonged nature of these records. I can now announce that with a time of 93 hours and 11 minutes, Hilda Bassi is the new holder for the Guinness World Records title for longest cooking marathon.
Her new record is, however, sufficient to beat the previous, which was at 87 hours 45 minutes, set by Indian chef Latte Tondon in 2019. The 26-year-old chef began on Thursday, May 11th, and continued through to Monday, May 15th, cooking over 100 pots of food during her 4-day kitchen stint. As expected, fans and well-wishers who were already getting apprehensive tripped her pages on various social media platforms to congratulate her.
I'm now being joined by communication expert Bemiho Awala, whose experience cuts across film, television, and radio marketing. Many thanks for joining us today. Let's dive straight into it, if we will. The euphoria around Hilda Bassi has really shocked even the record body themselves, saying the tweet announcing the record has received over 25 million impressions. Is this surprising to you?
It's not surprising at all. In fact, I'm willing to aver that it follows a natural trajectory on 2 fronts. If there's historical precedence that shows that generally Nigerians go all out for their own, so it hasn't come as a surprise. In fact, I think about a month ago, a certain Twitter handle, tweeted a political fact, and till date, that tweet is their best performing tweet. Also, maybe if we cast our minds back to 2006, I will remember the kind of hurrah and the togetherness that heralded Kafi's attempt at breaking the world record in terms of longest dance party, and it was novel at that time. And a lot of Nigerians celebrated that feat, so it hasn't come as a surprise at all. Because again, it's important to remember that as a people, we are elegantly boisterous. We are unashamedly passionate about our people, about our culture. And, so it hasn't come as a surprise at all that the tweet announcing Hilda Bassi's record-breaking feat, is till date the best performing tweet for the Guinness World Records Twitter handle. It's come really at no surprise.
So that record confirmation comes with no cash or material rewards. How then does Hilda benefit from breaking the record?
All right. So maybe, again, it's important to help our viewers understand, that more often than not, a lot of people who attempt to break these records have to pay some form of application fee, and depending on the category of the record that you're looking to break, such as Hilda Bass's record, which essentially had a lot of logistics around it. It was cooking, so it's also very possible, that she had expended a lot of money in trying to break that record, as opposed to some individual feats around, say, sports, for example, where you can have we have AGK, for example, who is a weightlifter from Nigeria, who's broken the world record in terms of ability to lift certain weights, so, I mean, that comes with no cost attached, but again, how does Hilda monetize, this world record that has no monetary value attached? I think that there are a couple of parts to profitability, if I could use that phrase. For her, she now has what we call name recognition, and with name recognition, certain doors will open of their own accord. The second thing then that has to come to the fore is the value, that she's got to deliver. And I say this as the fact that an opportunity has presented itself. All right. So the question then is, how is she able to consistently over time deliver value to either clients, to either partners, to either those who intend to also partner with a brand, because she's become a brand. All right. So essentially, we're talking about brand building efforts that over time can ensure that she becomes a permanent fixture, in that space. The third thing I would also say that in terms of how she could monetize it, top of mind, I think that she could also then go on to create new formats, all right? Because she deals in the culinary space, for example. I don't think it will be a hard sell for her to start off a reality TV show on her own, all right, where, and there are sufficient models out there, that she could borrow from, where that then helps to propagate the myth, and sort of reinforce the brand equity that she has come to earn. So I think that ostensibly, Hilda has, she's got a lot of pathways to monetizing and ensuring that her brand remains profitable. What she needs essentially is a management team, that would guide her in the right path. I mean, people who are knowledgeable, to help ensure that the brand equity is not eroded, to ensure that consistently they keep delivering value. Because again, money flows in the direction of value. All right. So I mean, clearly, she's got a very clear path for her at this juncture.
Finally, Hilda has opened a floodgate for others, including Chef Dami in Ekiti, another one in Ibadan. Opinions, of course, have been divided on others attempting to break the record, while Hilda's name hasn't even been written on it. What do you make of all of these?
All right. I think I would say that rightfully, every individual has a right to aspire to greatness. I mean, it's a God-given right, and I'm not sure that any other human being or institution has a right to deprive or to dissuade you, from, going on to fulfill, anything that your heart aspires to or anything that you set your mind to do. That said, my personal view is that I think that Dami should have waited for the confirmation around Hilda's record. And I'm happy that Hilda herself displayed a level of maturity that is uncharacteristic, in that she came out and tweeted in support of Dami's aspiration, which clearly was the right thing to do. So I think that Dami should have waited, and it has come to the fore now that it was essentially an attempt by Dami to popularize, some organization that she's part of. So you would not even describe it as a legitimate Guinness World Record attempt, because again, there are stipulated guidelines, that guide events and activities around attempting to break a record. So clearly, I think that she should have waited. And I think that the Guinness World Record has got humongous records that can be broken, all right?
Exactly.
You don't really want to crap on the style of your fellow countryman, I think that you should go look for your Northern Star and, do something better. Do something, that has never been done. Take on new challenges. Don't reinvent the wheel at this juncture.
Well, many thanks again for joining us today, and do enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you very much. It was great talking to you. Thank you.
We want to know what you think about Africa 54 and the stories we cover. Join the conversation on Facebook. The address is Africa 54, and check out our headlines 24/7 on voaafrica.com. After the break, science, technology, engineering, and math, or STEM courses in rural Kenya open doors for girls with disabilities. Welcome back to Africa 54. I'm Vincent McCory in Washington. Studying science, technology, engineering, and math, or STEM, can be a challenge for girls in rural Africa, especially those with disabilities. In Kenya, an aid group called the Action Foundation is helping to change that by providing remote STEM courses for girls with hearing, visual, and physical impairments. Ahmed Hussein reports from Wajir County, Kenya.
Marian Rono Bashir and her classmates take science, technology, engineering and mathematics or STEM classes at a special secondary school for deaf and hard of hearing students in Kenya's Wajir County. Thousands of girls with special needs in Kenya have taken part in a program called Ibuka Girls in STEM. It offers adaptive resources to teach girls with hearing, visual and other kinds of impairments.
Under this program, we teach our kids how to code. We have Scratch program. We also have robotics. We also have make kits. As you can see, the part that involves more of a hand-on task work, they really grasp that concept easily.
The Ibuka Girls in Science, Technology, Engineering and Mathematics program is spearheaded by the Action Foundation and aims to enhance learning for girls with disabilities in STEM-related fields.
We currently work with 37 schools across 25 different counties in Kenya, and we are supporting 2,200 girls to access STEM training and education.
In 2021, the Action Foundation was selected in the Google.org Impact Challenge for Women and Girls as part of an empowerment program to expand opportunities in STEM fields for girls with disabilities. The group's founder, Maria Omare, says they plan to expand the program to reach more girls with impairments in Kenya and neighboring countries.
We hope to expand the project to reach even more schools that work with girls with and without disabilities across the country, and hopefully scaling it up to other countries. We have our eyes set at Tanzania, Uganda, and Malawi, and partners who we can scale up the program with.
The Kenyan government has introduced policy changes and laws to improve education for children with disabilities.
We coined a scholarship program, full scholarship program, that reads together with the child's disability. Right from Form 1 to Form 4, the child will be kept in school to support in transition and completion. And then other costs associated with disability also take care of, like assistive devices, for example. And also doing advocacy and mainstreaming as a right, actually, how those institutions can ensure that these kids are not locked out because of their disabilities.
The foundation plans to expand the program by the end of 2024 for girls with and without disabilities in Kenya. In Africa, officials say girls with disabilities face more challenges such as prejudice, rejection by their families, and sexual violence. But for Marian Rono Bashir and other students here, the Ibuka Girls in STEM program goes a long way to reduce inequalities, and they hope to open economic opportunities in the future. Ahmed Hussein for VOA News, Wajir, Kenya.
Fawaz was often sent home from school because his mother, Fatima, had not paid his fees until he enrolled in a different school offering a unique solution, waste for fees. The school boasted only 7 pupils when it opened its doors in 2019, but it's fast expanding into a second apartment block to accommodate its 120 pupils.
Nigerian 4th grader Fawaz Adioshun puts on his footwear as he gets ready for the school day. Through a narrow corridor lined with clothes and cooking utensils, Fawaz and his mother, Fatima Adioshun, exit into a waterlogged street as they walk to school together with bulging sacks of rubbish lugged over their shoulders. The waste they're carrying is weighed at the school premises and its sales value adds to Fawaz's account.
Whenever I bring it, they would write it down. And when it's enough, they will tell me my son's payment is complete. Sometimes if he wants to buy sport wares, the school will tell me the amount I need to add to complete the required amount for it, and anything like books as well.
In 2019, the teachers at Fawaz's primary school in the tough and sprawling Lagos neighborhood of Ajegunle had sent him home countless times due to unpaid fees. One day, as he picked his way back home, a school owner approached him with a solution for his mother, Fatima Adioshun, to foot the bills. The new establishment, where Fawaz is now enrolled, located in the Ajegunle neighborhood, is one of 40 low-cost schools in Nigeria's commercial capital that accepts recyclable waste as payment. Tuition fees at the school stand at less than 10,000 naira per month, and enrollment is increasing by the day. Isaac Omoyele is the school's proprietor. He also grew up in this neighborhood and was also chased out of school while growing up.
This solution is actually helping more kids to actually enroll into school. It is something laudable. So we have also experienced what's called tremendous growth. We're making use of just one particular apartment before, but we had to increase because more kids are actually coming, and it is part of our vision and our dream to actually see how every child will have access to quality education.
The school partners with African Cleanup Initiative, a local environmental organization that collects the bottles, cans, drink cartons and plastic containers brought into the school by parents and sells them to recyclers.
The number of out-of-school children within the community that have worked have gradually reduced to a large extent. Secondly, the cleanliness of the environment where we work with has actually improved to a large extent because before, when you get to some of these communities that we work with, you just see the bottles everywhere, nobody cares about it. But since we started, they now see these PET bottles like an exchange for their child's school fees, so they don't throw it anyhow.
The proceeds of the sales pay for teachers' salaries, children's uniforms, books and pens, among other expenses. The scheme aims to reduce the number of children out of school, as well as the amount of rubbish on the streets of Lagos.
In Rabat, Morocco, a group of young film enthusiasts have created the Universe Cine Plus, an association that aims to get more young people interested in cinema and audiovisual production. Emmanuel Mojida Bayejas has this story from Casablanca, Morocco, narrated by Salem Solomon.
3 years ago in Morocco, a young Guinean wanted to share his passion for cinema and its ability to change the world. So he founded the artistic association Univers Cine Plus, or the UCP.
We are promoting art and culture as well as African diversity, the richness found here in Africa. We can create jobs thanks to the cinema. So if we mobilize young people and teach them the craft of filmmaking, those who may find themselves without work will be able to train themselves and be self-sufficient.
Since Kamara started the group, it has grown to 94 members from a variety of African countries. The UCP offers a number of classes. The most recent is a master class on audiovisual and cinematographic production and distribution.
Here at UCP, before starting a production, whether cinematographic or television or radio, you have to start with training. Because the students are young, they are passionate, but they are not necessarily professional.
The UCP also produces video and audio clips and programs such as Letterbox, hosted by Silver Jinganoji, the communications officer.
It's a show that aims to promote young talent, to highlight the talent which is hidden because these young people are talented but don't have many opportunities. So Letterbox goes to these people to find out a bit about what they do and show it to everyone.
Ebade Production, a larger company whose work includes commercials, news reports, and sporting events, supports the UCP's efforts to find and develop talent.
These young people, if we trust them, and if we offer them a good framework where the necessary conditions are met, they will be able to do very interesting things that can contribute to human development.
One of UCB's major projects is A Magic Voice, a film that will highlight how Africa's diverse cultures are passed on through the oral tradition. For Emmanuel Mouajidimbai in Casablanca, Morocco, Salim Solomon, VOA News.
In Nigeria, classical music is not so popular, but violinist Rosalind Anyinye had an idea to grow its acceptance locally. That's when she came up with an orchestra showcasing classical music in Yoruba. Since then, the taste for classical music has been growing among every age group.
At the Lagos Cultural Center, a rapt audience listens to baritone John Onosoliashe perform an operatic song in the Yoruba language about a hapless soldier being admonished for his failure to cook a flavorsome dish of beans. He cooks and there's no pepper, no oil, no salt, no onions. It is bland. What sort of food is this? Sings Onosoliashe, drawing laughter and cheers from an audience accustomed to fairy Nigerian staples such as pepper soup. The scene is part of the opera Kitchen Pictures at a Military Camp, composed by Seun Owoaje. Founder of the Vesta Orchestra, Rosalind Anyinye, says she came up with the idea of the orchestra when she was living in Vienna.
And it was always a dream of mine to come home to Nigeria and discover our own classical music. And so I did that. I came home, joined hands with a few friends, and we formed the orchestra. And now we have a foundation.
Anyinye, who's a violinist, started Vesta Orchestra and Opera Foundation in 2017 in a bid to enliven the classical music scene in Lagos by performing new works by contemporary Nigerian and African composers.
We knew from the beginning that our mission is to educate the people, to appreciate again the true Nigerian heritage and the classical music from Europe.
Half of the program and the event is music by African composers like Seun Owoaje, Victor Waifo, and Bobby Benson. It is called Afri-Classical Series because they play African classic music and others from the rest of the world. As Anyinye would say, with music, you don't have to convince anybody because art has its audience.
The American Association of University Women estimates that about 28% of professionals in science, technology, engineering, and math are women. Teachers in one Native American community are working to get more girls involved in the sciences. VOA's Virginia Ganawan has more from Tucson, Arizona.
A simple experiment replicates how a rocket blasts off.
Put the tablets in there, and then you close it. And when the water mixes with the tablets, it creates pressure.
This is one of the experiments Sarina Salido teaches to girls from the Pascuayaqui tribe of Tucson, Arizona.
We did it!
In 2016, Salido founded Taking Up Space, a 36-week program focusing on teaching Native American girls about subjects from math to physics.
We make sure that not only are we learning STEM and science, but we also go back and learn a little bit about the culture too. So different girls have different tribes, and so we learn a little bit about stories, like we have storytellers come on from different tribes.
She has taught girls from other parts of Arizona, along with New Mexico, Colorado, Minnesota, and Alaska. Salido has noticed that while many girls start out being interested in STEM, this often fades when they get older.
So by the time they're right in that middle school age, they don't want to do science anymore. So we get them like a little bit before junior high, like 9, 10, before they hit that crucial point at 12, when they just either completely drop out or don't care about it anymore.
Senerica, who only gives VOA her first name, is one of the youngest participants.
Because you learn different things about it, and
you could learn things that you didn't know.
At the end of the program, students went to Space Camp in Huntsville, Alabama. To fund the trip, which costs around $2,000 per student, the community held a fundraiser at the local restaurant.
Taking up space just kind of made sense for us because it did work with young girls on the reservation, giving the opportunities to learn about math and science, and also maybe a chance to go to space camp.
This experience at Space Camp, Salido hopes, will encourage her girls to continue their pursuit of STEM professions. From Tucson, Arizona, Virginia Gunawan, VOA News.
Well, and that's our show for today. You can find all the continent's top news and world news online at voaafrica.com. Check it out. I'm Vincent McCory in Washington. Channels Television has our last word.
We look forward to bringing you another show next week. To remember that channelstv.com is your source for news and other programming. I'm Joker Rogers. Thanks for watching and goodbye.